This is pretty fun. This is a pretty fun, exciting thing. They said I could say it on a video. I'm assuming they're trying to see if they're a badass country that can run it and hide and tell the truth and like not end up somebody's target, or like, all I can assume is that this country is one badass country. Because what I'm about to say, I don't know. If I was a country, I might be a little scared that somebody's gonna kick my ass or come after me or something, or figure out which country. But the country said I could say it out loud. There's a country. Okay, so I worked with a bunch of countries. So I worked in secret with my powers with a bunch of countries and badass husbands and more. And they got all the information with me out of the United States technology to figure out who's really up to what, and like, is there anything we could do? What should we do? So they pulled all the information out of the United States. This one country has figured out what their actual, like, okay, so you know how they always talked about that national debt or whatever, and the United States was always in some negative debt something and had borrowed from Japan or something. Okay, so this one country is pretty good with, like, I guess, financial expertise or something. They figured out who and what the United States is in a financial way. This is what they told me. And they said I could say it. Based on their financials, they should have already been in a Great Depression a long time ago. So they must have gotten gods that went bad to make them artificially exist or something. But that's scary. When you use the power of God to artificially produce good things for bad people, now they have to get punished for all that. So that's just going to create more and more catastrophic punishment ending, which is kind of really suicidal. But whoa, what a badass country. So apparently they should have been in a Great Depression like a long time ago. According to that country, they should have been in a Great Depression like, I forgot what they said. And then they started talking to each other about Great Depressions. And they know kind of where you're at as a country as you kind of collapse and end up in a Great Depression. That was kind of fun educational stuff. I didn't realize that a lot of big time experts, they analyze the Great Depressions throughout history. Or there's a lot of experts and they analyze the ups and downs of when you get too financially bad or unstable, and the collapse of different things and how different things collapse things. And apparently, according to them, we should have been in a Great Depression in the United States quite a long time ago. And I got curious and asked them, when you're borrowing money from Japan, does that really help your dollar, or does it help Japan's dollar? And then you still have to rise above the struggle of the dollar. And if you do, why has the United States always had a dollar that seemed like it was doing fine? And this is what that country said. I'm terrified because I don't know how they've made it through any of this to seem like what they seem like. And then I got scared. What if when they made enough deals with the devil to get the devil to kill me in the embryo, they were already asking gods and spiritual forces to just make sure that they would live spoiled, whether they do bad or do wrong. And the power of God has been keeping them in an impossible financial reality that's not real. That would be the scariest thing ever known. Because the power of God used inappropriately to create financial things that don't exist. And you can do that. You can use the power of God to make it seem like all kinds of things, while the financial life of a country just keeps going in the unthinkable negatives. So a country could drown in negatives, and the power of God could make them seem like it's just a day, even when they're drowning in negatives. But the sad thing is, at some point, it's all going to topple in punishments and more and fall apart. And that would be scary because the power of God and punishments would make the actual financial collapse that much worse. So you're like, well, then what does that mean? Because, like, I don't even know where that would be headed. That's scary. And then to find out, so these experts, I don't know if I said this part, these experts were like, when they were in a national deficit negative, their dollar was supposed to be worth blank, but that doesn't add up or make any sense. And then I don't know if I told you, but when I asked them about Japan giving them money, then how can that strengthen their dollar? The expert was like, you're right. When Japan is loaning them money, that would strengthen Japan and their financial strength, not the United States. So, one, their national deficit wasn't like, it was a sad thing they should have been paying attention to, but weren't. They were more busy trying to get the Pledge of Allegiance eliminated and hate God extra, and didn't care that they were in the negatives. And according to this expert, they were in negatives that were scary and really didn't match the worth of their dollar, and something is suspicious. And then when Japan is giving them money, that's Japan's strength, not the United States. And they never reflected that on a dollar or anything else. Which means whatever the dollar of the United States is, nobody even knows. But they do, according to them, know the answer of like their overall now. So that same expert said, based on what we have found overall in all their records as of today, they shouldn't even exist. They're in such horrible negatives and worse. And I was like, oh, that's great. What does that mean? Like, I'm just trying to take care of goodies and children of God. Does that mean like 3 times worse than a Great Depression? Like, where are we headed? Like, so the gods always say it's going to be worse and worse than a third world country. And you can always keep making it worse. So it was like, okay, so like 5 times past the Great Depression? Or like what would take a wealthy country into something worse than a third world country? You know, asking them what the gods said just in case. And the experts said, we don't even know, like, there's nothing in history that would teach us what the heck's gonna happen. And if they were trying to take over all of our countries, they're just gonna milk and bleed and destroy our countries, trying to save their country when it's beyond the worst mess ever known that nobody even knows how to fix. And then another expert said, more than that, and this is really terrifying, is what he said. He said, more than that, the big scary factor here is that they are murder happy, murder problematic. They have access to everything we have in all of our countries and don't care how much they destroy us in every and any way when they've already ruined their own country that bad and it starts collapsing or falling apart. And he was right. How are you going to save goodies and children of God when they run a country or a city-state equivalent area? And the United States won't stop doing everything and anything to everybody because they're going down badly. You know, it's funner when things are small. Because I'm in shock and, like, it makes me want to go back to the Great Depression. The Great Depression was hard. It was difficult, but, like, it had a lot of good memories. People got poor but turned so humble and kind. But they all got through it and made it out and got bigger and better and stronger because of it. And all this stuff just makes me think, like, wherever we're headed, it doesn't get better. So then you're like, okay, all right, well, God won, so good people have to have a good day. And God has won, so we just have to make good realities for good people. So I guess this is going to be the weirdest country where, like, it's collapsing, but children of God are doing just fine. Well, all right. You know, I'm kind of into unrealistic and weird. So I'll make some products with whatever husband finally lets me. Make sure my powers are really off the charts. Help some countries make some money. Just make sure I can dominate money production and control it more than all gods and more. Then whatever, we'll just have to weather it and go through weird, ridiculous things all the time. Until good people just walk through life and don't really understand. It's going to be a lot of juggling, though. Like, we'd have to produce money in these other countries constantly. I think maybe. Because the gods wanted the founding fathers to make this God's country. When the founding fathers made this United States God's country, it gave the power of God like some ownership, legal, spiritual United States rights. And the gods had mentioned that the United States is like the father country that holds on to all the countries. Well, then if the father country is falling apart financially, what's it going to do to all the other countries that are in this weird spiritual system dependent upon the United States? Which, I mean, we just let them manufacture that much more money. Man, this can be weird because a lot of countries that God doesn't like are going to have to kind of drown and struggle with the United States. Then the countries that God likes, I guess we can just produce enough money. But now, you know, everybody's going to keep trying to steal it or something. Well, this is good for us, though, because, like, this is how you figure out how God's going to be God and win. And everything else is just something else. Bad people are bad people, and they get bad things. But that's their problem. They're bad people. Good people have to have a happy ending. God won. Good people have a happy ending. So it's like, it's that easy. But how would you do it? Well, I was asking a husband if I could create those really cool karma cars. Those really cool karma cars are a dream I've wanted to build for so long. But that kind of technology is brand new technology. Maybe we can make a brand new technology for all the banking systems connected to the countries we love. If it's a brand new form of technology, we can try to fine tune it so that no one can tap into that money and steal it. You know what I just thought of too? We'd have to help them make something beyond nuclear and biological weaponry. Because right now they have a really big threat against every country. The United States has the threat of, I've made worse than biological nuclear weaponry, and you people don't have anything bigger than the bio-nuclear weapons we sold you that are jerry-rigged and have kill switches and all kind of fucked up shit. We'd have to create beyond nuclear biological in a way that's beyond anything they ever thought about. So we'd have to create something beyond what has ever been on Earth that the United States cannot fuck with. Well, but we're gods. We could probably figure this all out. So I'm kind of glad these experts are giving us information. You know, I'm going to keep posting because the more people give us smart stuff, the more we can figure out how to win at this game of life. Because wouldn't that be badass? Wouldn't that be badass if we could go back to the Great Depression, but like children of God danced in the Great Depression no matter what was actually going on? Oh, that'd be so cool. It'd be so cool for like the United States to be putting on the news, state of emergency, we only can afford blank. And 5 billion tons of children of God are like, well, I'm going to the husbands. Well, I'm going to God Incorporated. Well, I'm going to this country. They're a good country. Like, and we're going to be just fine. That'd be so cool. I'm going to the husbands. They went to the island of gods. And like, they always have a permanent, really big amount of money in the back of their house. And take care of us. Or, ooh, that's a cool one, too. That's glamorous. And that would let the children of God visit daddies and husbands everywhere. Okay, so that's a good plan too. To get enough of these husbands that will go to the island of gods and stockpile money in their houses. And it's money straight from the island of gods. If bad people touch that money, it turns to really scary bad. It's like worse than the worst than the worst than the worst Egyptian treasure tomb cursing you and stuff. So most anyone won't want to touch that money anyway. It's supercharged with too much power of God. And if you're bad, it just goes too bad, too fast. And we could get a bunch of husbands to like fill the whole side of the house or something with unlimited money. And then children of God would have an excuse to go visit fathers and daddies of the gods all the time and be like, I'm poor out to tell my story. And the husband could be like, just like Santa Claus, I'm backed by the power of God. I know if you're being a good or bad boy and what you really deserve. Oh, that'd be so cute. And then have a husband say, okay, checking with the gods, you actually were a good boy. Okay, then you deserve this much. Oh, that'd be so cute. And all the husbands would be like little daddies everywhere helping the babies. They'd be a fun time. And it would make the end of the world not that sad and depressing. And if this country really did financially collapse, it wouldn't even matter. Oh, that'd be kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to get with the gods and we're going to keep talking about this. Because, like, this is starting to go places that, like, gods would want to get G with this. Make it kind of really, really, really fun. Gotta keep thinking about these things. But yeah, children of God, everybody wants to, my queen, my queen, my queen. Let's keep thinking through my queen, my queen, my queen. I love when people go to my queen, my queen, my queen and talk to me about these things. Because, like, we're all amateur idiot hour just trying to talk to each other about all this stuff. And sometimes a basic human being thinks of something really cool that gods think, whoa, you're really smart. And sometimes you'd be amazed, human beings are pretty smart about what massive experts in these countries, like, come up with. Every now and then, a human being's got pretty fun or smart or creative perspective on things. And it would be kind of fun for us all to come together and just think, or talk about these things. You know, there's an outpouring of religious people. I don't know if they're preachers or congregation people. I don't know who they are. But some god this morning said, oh my gosh, these religious people are just flooding into my queen, my queen, my queen on overload. And they all know all about the Bible now. And I was like, well, yeah, I've been flooding the truth inside of their souls and more. So they're probably really, really, really comfortable with the fact that the book of Revelations is already played out. And I was putting the truth in their souls so that they would know for sure Revelations in the Bible is obsolete. It's already played out. That way, hopefully they'll fine-tune their preaching to have something that doesn't keep talking about an end of the world we're already in and stuff. So I was hoping it would help the preachiness of like something that actually like helps us go somewhere. So I was hoping, and see, this could be what we needed. If they're all turning to my queen, my queen, my queen, then we can fine tune some preacher stuff that actually is based on something current and what might happen, you know, in the future, and be actually helpful for everybody till there's a new Bible. That's gonna be fun. So now let's just work through my queen, and keep thinking about these things.